During the late 2000s, Black Box, the main developers of Need for Speed at the time, were in a tough spot as making games every year was becoming more of a challenge. It was apparent that they needed to strategize on how they were going to drop the next few games after Carbon. So the studio split into two teams to work on the next two games. One team working on one game, while the other team works on the other game, looking to flesh another set of bangers, continuing the generational run. And while they were ambitious, they didn't reach that criteria, at least to the majority of audiences, mainly due to the different genre one of the games is based on. As for the next couple of years, Need for Speed would experiment with a ton of different styles of themes all around, all starting with one entry, a close track-focused newcomer to King story, where one mistake can cost everything. This is Need for Speed ProStreet. In direct comparison of all the previous games, ProStreet is a very different title, as it's more of a simcade-focused close track entry instead of the usual open world arcade illegal street racing Black Box has been going for since Underground 1. And people were not on board, as it wasn't well received, not because of the quality of the game, but more so of the genre the game was based on. During the time, people were wanting more underground or most wanted, and not much on the hardcore, if you will, type of game ProStreet was going for. In this title, you're put in a major street racing competition where many kings oversee and must be taken down. You play as a dude called Ryan Cooper, a newcomer with a helmet bro never takes off, on a simple mission to perform like no other and do the unthinkable, prove everyone wrong and become the king of all kings, and take down the main guy ahead of it all, Ryo. To achieve this very goal, you must take part in many race days across 4 main tiers. Within race days, you're selected with numerous events you can take part in, with each event being score-based. Performing well in these events will give you good scores, in which all will be tallied up in the whole race day. Race days have 2 set milestones you want to reach, with the first milestone being winning the race day, where you're granted some cash and a choice of one of the 5 reward markers. From there, you can choose to either continue the race day to reach the second milestone, or leave the race day to advance to the next race day. If you choose to stay in the race day and reach the second milestone, you dominate the race day, which fully completes the day. It also gives you more cash and another one choice of 5 reward markers. All of the 4 main tiers have a showdown you can enter after winning and dominating a set amount of race days. These showdowns are race days, but not your typical ones, as these provide you loan cars you have to use for the day to get by and advance. After getting through all 4 tiers and showcases, Ryo challenges you on a one-on-one showdown to find out who actually deserves the crown. Beating him earns you the crown and his car, which is a tuned up Evo 10. But that's not it. You also have the opportunity to take on additional tiers, where you can challenge all the other kings. Each one of these tiers specializes in every individual event. One for grip, one for speed, one for drag, and one for drift. Taking on the respective tier will resort you to having to challenge the king based on the respective event. So, if you take on the grip tier, you have to beat the grip king. Beating all 4 kings will present you with their status and cars, as well as 100% completion on the entire game. Now, to put it simply, this career is very good. It's very unique and challenging, which I respect the most out of it. But you want to know what I exactly feel about Need for Speed Pro Street? I think this is one of the best games in the entire franchise. You want to play something like no other? You want an engaging experience that keeps you locked in? You want a game that packs a tough challenge all around? This game is the one to play. I recommend anyone that is a fan of racing games to try this game out. It offers the most challenge I ever experienced in a racing game, period. This game is no joke. It doesn't hold you around. You really gotta drive your best, perform your best to get good results. Because if you slip, it's all over. Making good strategies throughout the game is crucial, as you'll suffer otherwise. Like I'm telling you, there is no other game out there that will have you on the edge of your seat like this game. I raged a ton of times playing this game. It really had me tweaking in certain moments, but getting past those races, earning what I've been working for, feels the most rewarding I've ever felt. And that's what I think Black Box does best, making you feel the most rewarded, getting through difficult events. Now, the handling in this game is very different compared to all the previous games Black Box has made. As I said a little earlier, this handling model adapts more of a sim side of things a little bit more, while still being mainly arcade based. Every car feels different here, especially with all the event types you can assign your cars in. With setting your car to either a grip build or a drag build, your car will handle accordingly to that type of event it's associated with. But with the base grip handling model, it feels great. Cars feel weighty and reactive. It's not an easy pick up and play type of handling like the previous entries. There's an added layer to it where you need to actually counter steer and throttle control, which makes the gameplay all the more satisfying to master. Cause if you don't master it and slip up, you'll suffer the consequences. The customization in ProStreet is basically a souped up version of Carbon's customization. In this game, you can assign your car to a certain event build and go from there. Upgrading your car here is very similar from Carbon, as all the parts and stages are present, with the addition of being able to tune your car, which is a great addition. Going into this game, I didn't think tuning would be a thing. Being able to adjust specific aspects of your car like the final drive and tire pressure is very helpful to get your car performing the best it can. In terms of visual customization, most body parts and kits return from Carbon, as well as the auto sculpt feature, which plays a bigger role this time around, as tweaking it will affect the aero on your car. This is an amazing change that can drastically alter the way your car handles at corners. There's also additional things you can add to your car, like roll cages and racing seats. You can also add some liveries so your car can stand out if you like. The selection of tracks in this game is pretty solid. There is a good variety of environments with all these tracks. Overall, there isn't much to say about most of these tracks, as they're all pretty good. But one definitely stands out from the rest. Nevada. Nevada is a location not to forget, as this area will get you losing your mind when doing speed challenges. This is easily the most difficult track in the entire game, as touching an inch off the road can total your entire car. You really gotta lock in when racing at this track, or else you're not gonna enjoy your time. This game has a plethora of events, all of which are entertaining to play. As I said a little earlier, there are 4 main event types: grip, drift, drag, and speed. Let's first talk about grip. Grip has a total of 4 events. The first event is just grip, so your normal circuit races. The second is grip class, where all racers are split into 2 groups of 4, with one group having much faster cars than the other. So your only goal here is to beat your own group as the other group is essentially just an obstacle and won't count to your overall position in the race. The third event is Sector Shootout. Here, you go up against 3 other drivers, where 4 sectors are scattered across the course. You must drive your hardest to earn the most points with each sector, overall winning the event. Before hitting sectors, you have a set amount of points that decreases gradually until you hit the next sector. So, getting these sectors as fast as possible is key. Getting the most points within a sector means you own that sector. But be warned, another driver can take that sector by beating your score. If you manage to own all the sectors, you'll be granted additional points, guaranteeing the win. This event is pretty good. It can really be challenging as well. But the last event for Grip is Time Attack. Here, you take on 3 other drivers with the goal of getting the fastest lap. You have a set amount of laps, so many chances to do so. The driver with the fastest lap at the end wins the event. Quite self-explanatory. Gets the job done, so nothing too crazy here. Now let's talk about the drift event type. Drift has one event. Drift. Quite simple, really. Drift has you drifting on custom track routes, obviously accumulating points on the way. Setting the most points is the goal, as several other drivers have already set their points. You got 3 rounds to get the best score. One thing to note about that is the opponents can also prove their own scores with these additional rounds. So that's basically a rundown of the event. But how's the handling? Well, the drift handling is really interesting. There's a lot more depth to it compared to the previous entries, of course, making it more skill based. I definitely had trouble trying to learn this drifting model, mainly because I'm so used to forces drifting, so attempting to do remotely well was tough, especially during the later stages of the game. What was tough to process about it was you can't really counter steer, as the car will just stick to the initial direction you put it in, so you can't really chain drift either during straights. So this really threw me off during my playthrough. It really got frustrating not knowing how to go about these events, until I finally understood it. This handling model encourages you to gun it, otherwise you will not perform well. And that kind of reflects the rest of the game. While doing these, you gotta exploit the corners. What I mean by that is, you have to fully utilize every bit of every single corner as much as possible. And believe it or not, using NOS during these events actually helps, as it maintains your drifts, which is really substantial. All in all, this is a great event. I think it's one of the best drift modes in the entire franchise. Next event type to talk about is Drag. Drag has 2 events: Drag and Wheelie Competition. Drag is self-explanatory. I don't really have to talk about the nitty-gritty, but for this game, you're against one other driver on either a quarter mile or a half a mile. Before the race starts, you must heat your tires and get a good launch to beat your opponent. But keep in mind, like the drift events, there's other opponents you gotta worry about, so getting the best time is key here. Heating your tires well and getting a good launch is essential to winning these races. You got 3 rounds as well to beat your opponents, so you have many chances to get it done. I say this is also one of the best drag modes in the entire franchise as well. It may be not as intense as the ones from the Underground games or Most Wanted, but it is sure a damn good one. Wheelie competition, on the other hand, is about who can keep the longest wheelie. These events require a wheel drive car and essentially work how the normal drag races work, except your car would automatically pop a wheelie if powerful enough. Your goal is to hold that wheelie as long as you can, as the driver with the longest wheelie wins the event. Like the normal drag races, hitting your tires well and getting a good launch is key to holding your wheelie as much as possible. Using your NOS at the right time can also extend your wheelie. So these events are always great to do, especially with the Viper I had. That thing was a beast. And finally, last but not least, we have the speed event type. Speed has two events as well: Speed Challenge and Top Speed Run. These events have special track routes, which are strictly straights with long high-speed corners. But beware, these aren't as simple as you think they are. In actuality, these events are the hardest in the whole game. Now, Speed Challenge is just basically races with your speed spec cars on the special track routes. Top Speed Run is essentially the speed trap events from Carbon, where a set amount of speed traps are on the track and they track your speed and determine your position in the race. Your goal here is to drive as fast as possible, as the driver with the most miles per hour or kilometers an hour on all speed traps combined wins. When the race begins, everyone starts going separately in order, with the driver in first going first, all the way to then you going last, as you're in last. So you gotta prepare for these events somewhat, as you'll need a fast car to catch up to the pack so you can do well. With these events, it's important to utilize your NOS appropriately and to slipstream as much as you can. Doing these things will help you substantially, and you need all the help you can get. These are not easy events. With the adrenaline of the intense sense of speed to the obstacles on the tracks, these events are no joke. You can not afford to mess up, not even once, as that can cost you everything. Towing your car and having to pay big numbers to repair is not a great fee. All I gotta say is you better have a good amount of repair markers, because you will suffer, especially when heading to Nevada. Nevada is a straight death sentence. It's not even funny. It's super easy to total your car here. So easy, in fact, that the AI drivers frequently total their cars here too. That's saying something. I've never tweaked so hard playing a racing game before. I'm telling you, this got me losing it. But getting by it felt so rewarding. Mind you, I 100% completed the entire game, and beating the Speed King was the last thing I did. That was pure pain. Pure pain. But man, it felt so good getting through it all. Need for Speed ProStreet is pure cinema. It's one of the most underrated, best Need for Speeds out there. If you're a fan of racing games, man, and haven't tried this out, I highly recommend you do so. You never experience a game like this one. From the career mode to the core gameplay, this game is tough, but a thrilling ride that keeps you hooked, making strategies on how to be successful throughout. Truly a difficult mastercraft. And that's it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this review on Need for Speed ProStreet. and got more coming. You know, I'm gonna review all the next Need for Speeds coming. The next game is Need for Speed Undercover. In terms of when that's coming out, I don't know. Probably by the end of this year. I'll try to get that game done. I'm still playing through that game. I'm still getting through it. I'm not quite into it right now, and that's why I'm not really playing it that much, and that's why I haven't finished it. But by the time I finish it, I will start working on that script and trying to get that out. But yeah, I do apologize. My voice throughout this video is it's been a bit weird, but yeah, I'm gonna go rest it now. But hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. I'll see you all next time.